Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between Empire Kaz and ATN Socke here on Terminus Ray. We have Empire Kaz spawning as the red Terran player, meanwhile ATN Socke spawning as the blue Protoss. Protoss versus Terran here on Terminus Ray. Had to restart the cast. This is game 3 in a series. It is not a best of 3 series. If there are any additional games, I will post them up on Realm, and I will also put a link to it in the description of this video when it finally does get posted up. So yeah, be on the lookout for that, as we see Socke spawning as the blue Protoss player here. Meanwhile, Kaz spawning as the red Terran player here at the 9 o'clock position. Terran versus Protoss once more, and now we see Kaz building the supply depot rather close to his mineral line. He wants to make sure that that SCV gets back to work in a hurry. Now, yeah, I had to recast this game. I don't know if I mentioned this. I actually had red and blue SCVs mining at the same time, in addition to blue and red probes mining in each of the bases. So it had something to do with the funky ally colors and not all of the units getting colored correctly, and it became very, very confusing. So only lost the first 2 minutes or so being forced to recast it, as we now see Socke moving out and scouting, and it looks like he will not be scouting in the right direction, scouting in the clockwise direction, and it will, oh no, which way is he going? Can't quite tell. And no, he is scouting in the counterclockwise direction and will be able to head up that ramp in just a moment. Let's see if he actually moves far enough into his opponent's base. There's not going to be anything on the front door to really spot there, and if the probe turns around too quickly, that would be a laugh and a half. The probe, however, going to simply walk all the way in, spot the barracks, and now knows that there is also gas coming in as well. So this is a pretty standard build, as a Marine is now being trained. Meanwhile, back over here, Socke opening up with double pylon or gateway, double pylon cybernetics core, the standard economic build that most Protoss players do, as that probe now backing off with the Marine, may be able to get off a lot of damage on it. Will it be able to get shot down? It doesn't look like it. The probe has enough of an advantage. A 10 hit point probe able to barely escape and now move along his merry way, head back home, or perhaps activate a Zelnaga watchtower. It looks as though the Marine gonna quickly come in behind, and the probe knows that it needs to get away in a hurry. It will move away in a hurry, as this Marine down over here pretty much not going to see anything at all for a little bit of time, as that probe now wanders back home to perhaps to mine more minerals. Stalker now being chrono boosted out. Interestingly enough, we are not chrono boosting out that warp gate, so no warp gate attack being chrono boosted. So we'll see what he's really trying to go for. That Stalker is most likely there just to handle any SCVs. If an SCV does try to scout, the Stalker does move faster and is able to shut down an SCV rather quickly. Stalker now making its way out, but we can also see that Kaz is now going in for a very, very economic build with this command center, a command center at the 4-minute mark. So it was a Marine Tech Lab expand here on Terminus, as we now see the Marauder make its way out once again. Concussive shells about to be completed. Meanwhile, the second Marauder also going to be added as well, as the Stalker deciding to pull back, but this looks like it is going to be a Stargate Void Ray, 3-gate Stargate Void Ray here, and this is going to be very bad news. The SCV has not scouted this out yet, and if he doesn't get enough Marines, Kaz is going to be in a world of hurt, as a second Stargate now being added. What? Okay, sorry, 2 gateways. I thought those little icons switched on me for just a moment, and I would have been absolutely dumbfounded. SCV trying to make its way up the ramp, unable to do so. Void Ray now being trained. Most likely it will be chrono boosted out, and this entire backside of Kaz's base is very, very vulnerable to harassment. We are now getting a Marauder still being trained, and now adding reactors. And oh, this is going to be bad news. Adding reactors means that he's not going to be training anything for about another 50 seconds. So those Void Rays will become fully charged right as they're not going to be challenged, and then a fully charged Void Ray does deal significantly more damage, as we are going to have a pylon here. It is going to be able to warp in ever so barely up on that high ground, as in comes this Void Ray. Void Ray perhaps is going to try to charge off of some SCVs. Yeah, SCV now 1 is down. Another SCV is down, and it looks like a lot of damage to be had. Being very smart, Socke deciding to fully charge off of the supply depot first, and now getting some damage onto the rest of those units. And now a missile turret. SCV will get shut down, as where are the rest of those Marines? There are no Marines to be had anywhere in sight. Warping in units along that high ground, now going after that one missile turret there as the Zealots warp in, making it very, very easy. Kaz most likely will just be forced to cancel that missile turret. Down it goes, and now going after that tech lab. The tech lab still has so long in order to finish off that research, as Marauders are now coming in, and two Void Rays completely shutting down this entire engagement. Very nicely done. The Marines trying to stick into this game. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to do all too much. The Void Rays do have a slightly superior range, but the Void Rays do finally back off, as a nice round of Stalkers are warping in, perhaps to try to challenge this front door location. Stalkers, however, will have to deal with 2 Marauders, as there are now 3 Void Rays. Those Void Rays need to be very, very careful. Marines are getting some damage, and oh, 1 Void Ray does get taken down, and that was a little bit of a sloppy play, as the Stalkers are now pushing in. Marauders destroyed. Stalkers going after SCVs. SCVs are going to get destroyed, as the Marauders are now destroyed as well. So yes, down it goes, as Socke now getting in another force field. So these Marines not quite sure if they should be attacking from the high ground or the low ground. And Kaz just absolutely losing himself this game compared to the last one so far, as we are getting more and more units. Socke just playing absolutely dominant with this one base style, and one base which was often the bane of many Protoss players, is now being used effectively against a high-level Terran. Mass Marines still being trained up once more. We'll see what's going to be happening here, as the Void Rays are trying to shut down this supply depot. Looks like the Void Rays may be able to phase attack and get a lot of damage onto those Marines. The phase attacks do have a range of 6, so that is definitely going to help, as a supply depot now being repaired. Stalkers still down here on the low ground. A lot of medevacs, no factories, so not even a Viking as of yet, as these Void Rays are looking to perhaps dish even more damage. There are a lot of low hit point supply depots. Marauders once again being forced to pull back. Is it going to be enough? A lot of Marines back over here, unable to really push back any of these Void Rays. The Void Rays still continuing that pressure, and 2 Void Rays essentially winning the game for Socke right now, as Kaz just not quite sure how to respond to this engagement. Marines are now pushing down. A lot of Marines, more Marines still pulling in once again. Void Rays coming back to try to shut down a supply depot. It looks like a supply depot may get taken down, as the Void Ray now finally trying to chase, and it looks like the supply depot will start to burn. Is an SCV going to make it over? That is the next question. Force field also being placed down here, making sure that the units do not simply run down the ramp. The Void Rays are in a very, very nice posture. They may be able to shut down more of these units once again. Going after some of those Marines. The Marines, 1 Marine now down, another Marine now down, and both sides very low on hit points. Perhaps Socke could get an SCV to try to repair these mechanical units, as the Stalkers are now once again backing off. So Socke has a much larger army in terms of gas, but still not wanting to engage yet. He doesn't want to overextend himself. He pretty much knows that his opponent is very, very far behind. And if he does try to Socke doesn't want to extend himself, as he knows that his opponent is very far behind, and the longer he can keep his opponent behind, and the longer this game goes, the differences between these players will start to show up more and more. Kaz now finally establishing his natural expansion. Marines, Marauders, and SCVs on the move once more. Mass Marines now making their way into the center of the field. That is a very large army. 2,400 minerals. Not quite enough Marines yet. Okay. Apparently there was a little bit of lag, so how can you bad manner without words? I'm not 100% sure, but apparently Kaz thinks it is possible. Marines are now pushing their way forward. Stim pack has been completed. Combat shield about to be completed as well, as this army with no medevacs. We'll see how this works. These force fields, if they are able to split apart this Terran bio ball, will shut it down. We are getting the combat shield, but still, where is that factory? I thought I saw a factory. Yeah, factory is over here. We need to start double training medevacs. Otherwise, these units are going to fall relatively quickly, as we are now going into the Protoss ground armors. There's 2 medevacs in the air. The Marines will get some healing love from those medevac pilots. And now what is going to be happening here as the Marines attempt to shut down these destructible rocks and push in from perhaps a less well-enforced location. Marines are ready to go, now simply walking straight into the base. They are perhaps going to spot that proxy pylon. If he does, he should take it down. If he doesn't spot that proxy pylon. And now in comes the Marauders and the Marines. 1 zealot down, 2 zealots, 3 zealots now down. And you can see that the pilot is over here. The pilot will get destroyed in just a moment as well. And now continuing this push, Socke now seems to be in trouble. So Socke, nothing to really counter this. He does have 2 proxy pylons if he wants to try to base race, but base racing a Terran player, always a very dangerous proposition, as you're sitting at 45 probes versus 36 SCVs. Medevac now once again moving through. There are going to be, only 2 medevacs. The Marauders now simply just going to walk in, shut down that pylon. Where's that Psystorm? No, there's the force fields. No Psystorm just quite yet. Feedback onto the medevac. Did it actually deal more damage? Not quite sure, as the Marines still healing up and trying to finish out the rest of these Stalkers and these Sentries. Mass Marines battling it here. Taking a look at the army combinations. The probes now trying to finally engage, but the probes are going to get destroyed as Zealots are now finally warping in as well. The Marauders, yes, jumping inside that medevac and able to barely escape. The medevacs do have a faster movement speed than Sentries and Void Rays, and otherwise they are able to attack and move at the same time. Medevacs now being repositioned here. We should perhaps get 2 additional refineries in just a moment. Back over here, we see 1 refinery, and the Ghost Academy has been up. But I still don't see, only 2 ghosts to be had so far. So 2 ghosts, a lot of Marines still making their way out as a Marine simply tries to run away. And it looks like we are going to have an Archon engagement with shield upgrades. One of the things that I think is absolutely silly is, why does the Protoss armor even get shield upgrades? Doesn't really help him out. It helps him reduce 10 damage, 12 damage down to 2 for 10 hit points. Not very effective at all. Mass Zealots still in the main center of the field now. We are getting into 54 SCVs, 43 probes, Archons, High Templars, 2 Archons now being added as another Nexus finally being warped in addition to a command center which is already up and running by Kaz. We're going to now see Socke now try to run in. Will it be enough, as the Marauders are going to try to battle it out? EMP Shockwave, down it goes. More and more attacks. Blue Flame Hellion, mass medevacs, but the Hellions have already done their job, shutting down all of these SCVs and all of these right-handed... wow, what am I thinking? Shutting down all of these SCVs. And yeah, just making it very, very easy to attack, move. As the Zealots continue to just battle it out. Yes, I will be taking a break after this one. Yeah, Archon's continuing to push in. It looks as though the Archon's trying to get in there. Is the Archon's going to be enough focus fire? The Archons do have a massive amount of shields. It looks like a lot of damage is being dealt, and the 1 medevac Val finally being pulled back. And wow, Kaz getting those reinforcements at just the right time, able to continue this push. There is a low hit point, a low shield Void Archon in that back. The Archon now trying to shut down some SCVs, able to get some nice splash damage in there as well. A lot of SCVs are getting destroyed. Both sides taking a massive amounts of damage as Marines, Archons coming in, and there is the GG by Kaz. And Kaz losing game 3 of the series to Socke. So Kaz now down 2-1 in the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 3. Game 4, I will have a link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.